welcome. I hope you're all well. Thank you for joining me on this video. I'm going to talk about today, or this evening, about my experiences with Manila Airport. In the last 12 months, I've traveled to the Philippines and back several times. So I've gone through Manila Airport, I think, thinking about it, 6 times at least. That's including like domestic flights I've done when I've been there. And it can be quite confusing and intimidating. There are 4 terminals at the airport, and one of the problems I've found is that they've been doing a lot of work in the last year or so, 2 years or so, to upgrade everything. And whether that's part of the situation that's happened, I'm not sure, but it tends to be not signposted. And to prove my point, I thought it was me just being a bit thick, stupid, whatever. The last time I was there, coming back to the UK about 3-4 weeks ago, I had a guy that sounded like a German national come to me while I'm waiting for my bag at the baggage collection, and said to me, "Excuse me, sir, but I'm trying to get to the next terminal, Terminal 2, I think he said. There are no signposts to tell me how to get there, where I go. What do I do? Because it's the first time I've been to Manila." And yeah, I felt sorry for the guy, because my first time I thought the same. You can ask directions, you can ask people, they're very friendly, very helpful. But I tend to find that they're also very busy, and maybe the best guys to ask I found were the security guards when you get outside the terminal. So just take a sip of wine a sec. Yeah, so one of the things I discovered is that there are free bus shuttles between the terminals. So if you're coming in on an international flight, which could arrive on Terminal 1, British Airways arrive, I can't remember now, Terminal 2. And in fact, most of the flights I've got, I think I came by Royal Brunei once, I've came by Cathay Pacific, they all arrived in Terminal 2. But I think the American flights come into Terminal 1. But if you're then getting a connecting flight on, the domestic departures are Terminal 3. So you have to get across, excuse me, you have to get across the different, to the different terminals. Now, there is a free shuttle bus, apparently. I've never caught it because basically I've always stayed over the night, because the UK flight's getting quite late in the day, and then I have to get a connecting flight, which would mean arriving in Bohol, my destination, late at night. So really, you don't want to be traveling in the Philippines in the night time, because there are no street lamps and street lights, and it's pretty damn dangerous, basically, no matter which way you travel. So anyway, so you can find that there is a free shuttle between the terminals. The best thing to do is, once you've got your bag, get outside, speak to one of the security guards, and they're pretty good. They'll direct you to the right place. So as far as I was concerned, I was decided on every occasion when I arrived that I would stay over the night before my onward journey the next day. So it was a case of getting from the airport to my destination hotel for that evening. The first evening, the first time I flew, I stayed over in a hotel that was within about half a mile of the airport, and once you come at the airport, you get bombarded with people trying to ask you to take their sort of connections, taxis, etc. Don't do it, is my advice. Don't do it. You know, somebody dragged me to a taxi, and the guy charged me 2,000 pesos, which is about 30 quid. This is the first time I got there, about $40, yeah, £30. And it took about 25, 30 minutes to get there. Most of that time we're just stuck in traffic. When I got to the hotel, I found out they do have a shuttle bus, in this case of this hotel, and they were they were charging 800 pesos. So, you know, probably about 11, 12 pounds, $15. So really, you know, be very careful. Manila, you know, lives up to its reputation, I think, when it comes to, you know, being targeted as easy money for people. Yeah, if you're a white foreigner, that's my opinion. So, yeah. But in my case, I decided that after the experience of that hotel, I would stay at a hotel I knew, and they recently opened a Holiday Inn Express very, very close to the airport. It has that, along with the Marriott and two or three other in that chain, like the Hilton, has one free shuttle bus. That's the point I'm making here. And so I stayed over in Holiday Inn Express. Yeah, it cost me about £70 to stay for the night, but the hotel is fantastic. It's really well up to what you're used to across the world in sort of you know, top class hotels. The breakfast is awesome. There's a massive international buffet. You can eat what you want. And of course, although it cost me like £70, I was getting a free transfer each way. And even looking into the other hotel I stayed with, which I won't name, you know, not because it was bad or anything, but just because they charge for their shuttle bus, you know, I'm saving nearly 2,000 pesos. So if you take that into account, staying at the Holiday Inn Express really didn't cost me any more at staying at a sort of a lower star hotel without the sort of pedigree, shall we say. So, you know, I recommend staying in something like the Holiday Inn Express or the Marriott if you can afford it, because the price goes up, I'm afraid, or the Hilton. So the Holiday Inn Express to me was the best bet. You know, no complaints there. Stayed there one night with my fiance, and she was well impressed. They had a hairdryer in the bathroom. And of course, standard practice when you come to Holiday Inn Expresses across the world, or the Crown Plazas. So yeah, there's no hassle. It's easy. You just tell them which terminal you want to go to, and the receptionist tells you that, yeah, the bus arrives at 20 past the hour, etc. And the guy loads your bags, takes you straight there. No hassle whatsoever. So I recommend that you you know, stay in something like that, just because it's you know, free shuttle, it's safe, and they look after you. So one thing I did find with Manila Airport is, like you said, there's no signage and stuff, so it tends to be a little bit confusing. So, got disturbed by somebody knocking on the door, but yeah, so to carry on where I was talking about, one of the advantages as well of staying at either the Holiday Inn Express or something very close to that locality, like we were saying, Holiday Inn Express particularly has got the McDonald's next door to it. So if you arrive really late, like I did last time at 10:30 because my flight was delayed, you can get food 24/7. Just across the road, there's the Newport Mall, which is like a designer mall. If you've got the dosh or the money, yeah, you can buy your Dolce & Gabbana, you can buy your Rolex watches, etc. But the good thing about it, they've got a whole floor of restaurants, and they're open late, and they're anything you want, from traditional Filipino to seafood restaurants, Italian, American steakhouse, everything you want. And the meal was very, very good. The last time I was there, which was in October, basically I decided I would treat myself to some very large prawns, or shrimp as you call them in the States, and for like a case of 600 or 800 pesos, I think it was, I had 12 supersize like prawns with rice and a full meal. I couldn't eat it all, to be honest with you. So there's another big advantage. Going back to the journey on the bus, it's okay. They take your bag, they put it on for you. Little bit, traumatic because it's in and out of traffic and things like that. But like I said, it's the safest way to travel. One thing I do recommend, I'm just going to look on my laptop here a sec for something I've written down earlier. Just about the terminals. Terminal 1 is mainly international flights for many of the airlines. Not the UK ones, but many of the airlines. Terminal 2 is international and domestic flights of the national carrier, Philippine Airlines. So whether you're traveling internally or you've just arrived, if it's with Philippine Airlines, that's where you're going to arrive. Terminal 3 basically serves the international flights not served at Terminal 1. So this is where you'll come in with British Airways, for instance. I also arrived there with Cathay Pacific, I think, but it was like a year ago now. So like I say, the main thing, I would recommend actually looking at this site. It's just the usual, www.manila.airport.net, and just study it. It is possible, according to what they say, to walk from, I think it's Terminal 3 to like the Holiday Inn Express on something called the Skywalk. They reckon it's 5 or 6 minutes, and it's covered like walkway. I didn't take it for the simple reason being the very last bit looks a bit dodgy. I'm not too sure where it brings you out. And arriving late in the evening, I don't want to be walking the streets of Manila with bags, like saying, hey, I'm a tourist, rob me. So take the bus. It's free, it's safe, it's easy. What else can I tell you to be aware of? Yeah, one thing I found confusing last year when I travelled, again, this is part of the transition when they were doing the airport. I was literally getting another flight the same day. So the bags came around on the baggage belt. I was told I had to take them and then get them rebooked on my other flight. But first I have to get them custom checked. So they came through. It was not obvious at all, where you have to take them and stuff. But somebody said to me, you go and see one of the porter guys over there. Actually, there's the security guys doing the checks. I took my bags to them. They shoved them through one of the X-ray machines, and then said, take them over to one of the porter guys standing by the wall there. He'll give you a ticket and take your bag from you. And that's what they did. It seemed a little bit, I don't know, flaky, I suppose. I was giving my bag to a guy that I was hoping he understood where it was going. But it all went well. The bag arrived at my destination. So, so really that's a lot of not a lot of information for you, but just from my experience, I mean, on the return flight, I got back to the terminal, got to the terminal, and the baggage belts had broken down. So for an hour they weren't checking people in, so the queues were horrendous, and they were doing security checks, double security checks for UK nationals, American nationals, and Australian nationals. So you had to go through yet another set of security while you were queuing, and they'd open your bag. Every single bag was being opened. So just be aware that allow yourself plenty of time. I arrived 3.5 hours before my flight, but I only had about an hour spare by the time we finished queuing, etc. So it can take a long time for processing through, especially if something goes wrong. But it didn't help that that weekend was also, the week was just after the Ta'al volcano decided to wake up. So it was even dodgy whether I'd get a flight to Manila in the first place. So it was just a lot of things that combined together. But anyway, I'm going to put some videos up of just some of the, short clips of the journey between the terminals, and also a little bit about the queuing. You'll see how busy it can get. But in general, ask. They usually give you the right ideas, but study the maps and where you have to go and see where your terminals are first. But remember the free buses. Don't take the taxis. Don't take the taxis. No need. Thank you for watching. Keep tuned in for the next video, which will be again within the next week at the latest. Not too sure what the subject's going to be yet, but if you want to suggest anything you want me to talk about, by all means do, because like I say, I'm living between the two countries, UK and Philippines at present, and I'm here at present to pack things up and get things sorted, as well as like sort of my mother's situation, as you probably saw from the previous video. So please please subscribe is the important thing. And I'd love to see you join me on my next video. Thank you very much. Bye-bye, and have a good day, a good evening, wherever you are now. Thank you.